So for this week's reading, we focused on grammar variables, which are things like proxemics, which is like a man's spatial behavior patterns, or framing, which is how a camera takes close shots, medium range shots, long distance shots, and how all of those different things affect videos, specifically for us, YouTube videos. We read the article by Joshua Marowitz called Television and Interpersonal Behavior, and for that article he focused on mainly how grammar variables affected relationships between viewers who would watch movies and television, and how the different shots and cinematic views created a relationship between the two and how it brought them closer together. But for us, we're focusing on how YouTube, a different medium, uses proxemics, framing, and other grammar variables to create relationships with the viewer and the YouTube star. So a parasocial relationship is an illusion of a face-to-face relationship with the performer. So when we watch YouTube videos, we form relationships with the YouTuber, either through the content of their videos helps form a lot of the relationship, but the grammar variables are also a very important part of this, because the way that they're perceived on the camera creates different feelings within the viewer and creates relationships, such as like how close they're to camera can make them feel like they're more of a friend-to-friend or lover sort of relationship, versus how TV sometimes uses long-distance shots and objective shots, which put the viewer outside of perspective, viewing the whole scene from afar away. And YouTube uses somewhat of a mixture of subjunctive shots, which are when the camera takes the role of one of the characters and we're watching it from their eye point, and they mix the subjunctive and the objective sort of in a way that creates a different kind of feeling, whereas if the viewer feels that they're involved with the actual person on the other side of the video. They feel as if like they're talking directly to them and speaking directly with them, and it creates somewhat of a friendship type basis. The YouTuber that I'm going to use to illustrate this sort of hybrid frame of subjunctive and objective that I believe YouTubers use is Dom Mazzetti of Bro Science Life. I've used him in the past for a couple other videos, but I think he really kind of exemplifies this sort of hybrid shot with many of his videos, which create the viewer who watches them in a point of like a stance point of being involved in the video, and he's talking directly to them because he usually has no one else in the videos that he works with, so there's no other characters. So in a sense, his viewers are characters involved in the video, and the way he uses close-up shots of framing really kind of sets this point home.
Don't try to impress your spotter. Just because you have a spot doesn't mean you can put on all the 45s in the gym. I don't want to be deadlifting this bar off your chest.
So as we've seen in Dom's video, Yo, Can I Get a Spot? It kind of uses that hybrid view that I was talking about, whereas we're looking at Dom from above while he's on the bench press as if we were spotting him while he was benching. And it's kind of as if we are the other character within the video because no one else is in the video and the cameraman doesn't talk. So we take the role of the person that he's talking to. So it creates this relationship from the camera angle's close-up frame as well as this hybrid view that really kind of brings us into the feeling that we're with Dom at the gym, helping him get a spot, like as if it were real life. So in this next video, we see Dom at the gym again, as usual, but this time he's got like a lot of people in the background. So for the shots of the angles they use ones which incorporate like a setting of where you would be if you're at the gym. You would see other people doing things around you, so it kind of brings the sense that you're there with them by adding those other people in the background, things like that. And he also uses a lot of images, which is another grammar variable that kind of sort of helps bring in the audience, make them feel closer, like pop-up images on the side of the screen. So that also really enhances like the relationship between that we feel with Dom as if we're much like more apart.
What is a pump? Well, a pump by the standard definition is what happens when you're lifting and blood rushes to your muscles, swelling them up and making them hard rock pool party. But alas, young virgins, a pump is so much more than that. Call that the king crab. Oh, you see, when you get a pump, you're becoming the biggest and best version of yourself for like, give or take 2 hours. Tops. A pump is instant gratification. A pump is the only thing in life that lets you know what you're doing is working. If everything you did to better yourself rewarded you with a fucking pump, then you bet your ass would be sobering up, buying land at Passage Malibu, probably Probably be more respectful of women. Super set. But it doesn't. So instead, you can find me here at the gym, disrespecting these weights. Right. You slut. Oh, you fucking whore.
Different scenario than usual. He's actually in the kitchen behind the counter with a still close-up shot that makes it seem like we're there with him and like that we could be in the kitchen. It's different because the setting allows for the viewer to see him from a different like perspective than normal, and it kind of makes more of a feeling that you showing a different side of him, that he's even more like you than you already thought he was, because like he's drinking beer and things like that. And the setting of where it takes place really does have a big effect on that, and the use of the still close-up shots really still just incorporates the viewer a lot.
She's not actually a whore, she's just a person that I disrespected. We're shooting? Now, if you're a gym rat, you're more familiar with chicken breast than you are, say, your own dad. If you're me, you're more familiar with the landscape of Pluto than you are your own dad. And it ain't because I'm a fucking astronaut, even though I am, but I digress. There are only 4 good types of chicken, alright? There's fried chicken, chicken wings, chicken parmesan, and chicken head. But you're a hardcore bodybuilder, so all these are off limits. Your high and mighty ass is eating bodybuilding chicken, which is closer to a Dr. Scholl's insert than it is an actual edible piece of meat. We've all been there. You stare down at your rubbery piece of bicycle seat on your paper plate with your plastic utensils and crushed soul and think about quitting. But you'd rather kill yourself than lose your gains. That's why it's called a diet. Quitting's out of the question. But lucky for you, no one has to die here. Except for millions of chickens, of course. But you don't. Because I'm here to tell you how to make chicken without wanting to kill yourself.
So YouTube really is a lot different using of grammar variables and proxemics than television, and that's really seen through Tom's videos, where he uses a sort of hybrid of objective and subjective shots to create a different atmosphere that allows for the character involvement with the viewer and the viewer to involve the character in a manner that's really never seen anywhere else on television or radio and things like that, or in movies. So the use of grammar variables on YouTube really does change for a whole new dynamic. And although the content is also very important in the whole process, the grammar variables are really what kind of change the landscape of how YouTube is seen through the eyes of the viewer.